Hi, my name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. It's review day! And as you can see, this is what I'm going to be reviewing today. The Black Diamond Raven Pro. The Black Diamond Raven Pro, this is definitely one of my most favorite glacier ice axes. This thing is super light, versatile, and it has saved my bacon multiple times. Now, and you might say, first of all, what about ice axes? Why do you care? Well, if you're into mountaineering, climbing, or anything, the ice axe is the most fundamental tool you can have in mountaineering. Even more so than your rope, even potentially more than your crampons, but not as much as your head. So let's talk about the qualities of the Raven Pro here. This is by Black Diamond. There are several other manufacturers of ice axes and very totally popular, but this has become my favorite. And the number one reason that this has become my favorite, and you can see it's definitely seen its mileage, and I'll tell you what this business is about and what this business is about, is because it is insanely light. This version, let's see, how many centimeters is it? 65 centimeters, is something like 14 ounces. So this thing is way less than a pound. Now, it's probably a little bit taller than I should have got a long time ago, but it reaches right to my ankle. Here, let me show you here. So there's a whole theory of how your ice axe should be measured and figure it out, but right here you can see that it goes, when I'm standing upright, the point here touches my ankle bone or just the top of my boot when holding the ice axe in the classic style. So that's how I measured it. So right there you can see how that is. Now, the reason I got the longer ice axe is, let's see, how we doing here, is because when you're poking along on glaciers, it's really nice to be able to, sometimes as you're stumbling, maybe punch that guy out into the ice or the snow, and really I don't have any problems with it. So what do I really like about this guy besides its lightness? It has a very classic shape. The head is all stainless, the pick and the adze here. I mean, I've chipped away a lot of stuff, and I see a few little dings on here, but nothing too crazy. The pick here, still sharp as ever. And I mean, I've had this thing for, I'm trying to remember how long I've had this thing for. Man, 15, 20 years. I mean, this is really trucking. It's funny, I've been on quite a few expeditions and met up with other climbers, and we're pulling out all our gear, and everybody looks at me, hey, well, what's that thing? Oh, it's the Black Diamond. And you pick it up, and they're like, you sure this is going to save your life? It's really light. And this came from one of my climbing buddies, Randall Peters. I'll put a link to his video or his book below, but he has this old school heavy carbon steel. Oh my gosh, I mean, it's like weighs at least twice as much as this thing. Now, would you say, oh, Aaron, shouldn't the ice axe be as heavy as possible to keep you safe? No, I don't know any correlation between the weight of the ice axe and your safety, because ultimately using the ice axe, besides using the adze to pick stuff out and the pick maybe to climb. Now notice, just as a case in point, this is a completely straight shafted ice axe. This is not designed for climbing at all. Is definitely not the ice axe's point, because if you're using this to climb, and here I'll crank this down to the snow here. Now, if you're doing this maneuver where you're picking in the ice and doing all that, it's okay for a few times, but because this doesn't have any angle on it, it's really not meant for that, because over time it'll wear out your wrist. Now, I will always hold the ice axe with my little leash here with my 1-inch strap, and then you get in there, and I mean, no problem. The adze, this side of the ice axe, it's chiseled out so many little steps and things in the ice, I don't even know. I mean, totally effective, not a problem. Chips it up pretty well, see? Easy. And then of course the pick part, or the point part here in the bottom, I mean, whoa, you could totally bury that in. Now would I immediately just belay off an ice axe? No, only in a total pinch of a situation, but it definitely gets the job done. You'll see a little bit of snow does get in there, but virtually everybody always makes a hollow pointed base of the ice axe there. Now, a couple other things to note about this ice axe that are really nice is, let's see, is that level? I don't know, that's okay. They've got this nice little strap hole here where you can put any sort of strap. I mean, I've got on my Black Diamond Venom, I've got one of those fancy drawstring straps that totally works. But for this guy, I just use a 1-inch strap. No big deal. Let's see, let's toss this back in the ice here. One of the fancier straps, it's definitely nice, but I found over time, this guy, it looks totally ghetto, but it actually works better because the draw style, I really like it, but sometimes it gets too tight, and now I got to loosen it up and get my hand in there and futz around, and you know, what a pain in the butt. So ultimately, I've just stayed with this ghetto style strap. Now, another thing that I've have, and one of the nice things about this particular ice axe as well, is that the head is stainless steel. So when you get your ice axe protector, and I highly recommend you get one of these things, because as you're traveling around and climbing or hiking, you've got your ice axe in the back. You know, God forbid this should hit you in the back of the head if you fall, or, I mean, this will put a hole through a Nalgene bottle. I mean, it is sharp and hard, but you'll notice no rust on here whatsoever, and you just put the little protector here. You can get the ice off. I mean, you don't want to abuse the steel, of course. And you put this here, because that adze is actually pretty sharp. I wouldn't say it's going to cut my hand open, but it's definitely sharp. Now you'll notice too, so that's a good idea. So I've flown with this in my backpack, and the 65 millimeter fits in my old Gregory Denali style huge backpack just fine. Being this long of an ice axe, I recommend you go to a store and check out the ice axe that you need and get the recommended length. Also, the shaft is one solid piece. I mean, I've never had anything come loose. I've never had this break, so that works pretty well. So I'm going to take off the tip and adze protector there. Now, Aaron, you might say, what's up with the ghetto pipe foam, dude? I mean, come on. You're supposed to be doing a product review and showing us exactly how the product looks completely clean. No, because I've used this ice axe. I mean, I was on Mount Elbrus, we were doing some training. I sat up on, all of a sudden I started sliding down, so I'm turning over and stopping with the ice axe, and yep, prevented me from rocketing to the bottom and saving my life. But when I've climbed on Denali, and this actually was useful in Everest, one of the things is, whew, man, my fingers are freezing, is because holding this steel or holding the aluminum shaft, even with a regular glove on a cold mountain like Denali, you're going to freeze your fingers. I've seen quite a few people with frostbitten thumbs or something, because when you hold the ice axe in a traditional fashion, you'll hold it backwards, and that doesn't make sense until you realize you have to put your ice axe up, turn over and dig that thing in, and basically stop with your nose if you have to. Exactly. Just don't put your ice axe in your teeth or your shoulder, because it'll punch a hole in you. But the nice thing about this ghetto foam is, with a little bit of Gorilla Tape here and just a basic piece of pipe foam, I can grab this thing, and it's probably 20 degrees, and I have no problem holding on to this thing whatsoever. So you can see in there, I've put a little bit of nuclear tape, but nothing too special in there, and that allows me to climb holding my ice axe. My fingers are freezing, but only from the air and not from the ice axe. So this is definitely advantageous. This ice axe, the point is also not removable. This is not designed as a direct ice climbing axe. This is designed as an arrest and anchoring type axe. So if you need a more traditional, hey, I need to do more ice climbing, this is definitely not the ice axe for you. But if you need a total glacier ultralight, and you might say, oh, it's a little bit more expensive. Look at it this way. What did I say? I've owned this thing 15 or 20 years and still trucking. Do I care about that 15 or 20 bucks extra that I spent? No. But do I enjoy the lightweight featherness of this ice axe every time I use it? You better believe it. So trust me, when you have the opportunity to shell out 15 or 20 more bucks or whatever the price is, I don't know what it is. I'll put a link below to the ice axe on Amazon. Definitely check it out. But believe me, spend a little bit more, get the professional version that's much lighter, and man, you will not regret it. So I definitely love my Black Diamond Raven Pro ice axe, and you can actually read it on here. Full disclosure, I am not sponsored by Black Diamond. I'm not sponsored by Amazon. I just do these videos of my own accord just to share my experience for you so you can receive a good, honest review about, oops, let me tilt this down one more time, the joys of the ice axe. Ah, yeah. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I am a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and comment on my video. Comment by hitting that little arrow by the video. Subscribe to the channel so you can get more reviews just like this. Please support me on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. Thank you very much for watching.